This video is basically about how we teach our children and have people accountable for how they handle throwing out waste in this country. And really, EVs is just an extension of it. How many videos have we seen with ICE cars being compared to EVs without the people doing the analysis of pluses and minuses of Teslas or other EVs versus any of the luxury vehicles that are gas or diesel run, where they completely leave out the impact on the environment from combustion. I mean, EVs, at least Tesla, and I'm biased about Tesla because I own one and I invest in the stock of it. I know at least Tesla, and I think the other EVs are probably fairly close to Tesla because they have fundamentally the same kinds of technology. But nonetheless, I know with Tesla, it's in the 92-93% efficiency rate. So even if they're getting their electricity from some of the worst sources, they're still far more efficient than simply burning gasoline or diesel, which get between 23 and 25% efficiency in terms of using the fuel relative to being able to move the vehicle. There are a lot of other chemical compounds that are toxic that are being emitted from combustion vehicles. And think about when you're in a lot of traffic and these cars just sitting there continuously pumping out bad toxin overwhelmingly. There's an isolated set of cars that sort of just run off the battery, the one that keeps the car so it can start only in a combustion vehicle. But that battery's going to die on them. That's a very small battery. It's not much bigger than a football and a half. And it's not going to really work substantively for waiting and for traffic to move, or when they're driving slowly, that's not even being used. So there is no real answer for combustion in terms of the quality of air. I mean, anybody who's been out to the countryside where there's hardly any cars and lots of trees immediately realizes how clean the air is. Imagine if you're in underground parking, maybe you're going to a restaurant, who knows why, maybe you live in a condominium, I don't know, but you have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. If the fans are not working correctly or they don't sense something in a pocket of air that has too much carbon monoxide, people's health is seriously at risk. We know people with open garages that have left their engines running where carbon monoxide has drifted into the home and people have passed away. I mean, it's a silent killer. It's easy to not even smell it. I mean, we have alarms in our homes in many cases for carbon monoxide excess, and yet we're driving something that produces carbon monoxide and naturally turns into carbon dioxide, taking oxygen from whatever else was in the atmosphere that could have been used properly for breathing. So really, getting an electric car is just an extension of how we are careful about how we throw out our garbage. Our bottles should be separate from paper, etc. And it's the same reason we buy bottled water, is we want something clean. I mean, why bother buying bottled water if you're just going to turn around and say combustion cars are fine? I mean, while they're pumping all this elements, all these compounds into the air, is a little hyperbole. It's better to have clean water and tolerate the air that we have now with disproportionate ICE vehicles. My point is simply this: if you see the logic in trying to be healthy in some ways, why not continue with the vehicle that has so much to do with the air quality we breathe? And one simple analogy that just occurred to me a couple months ago, and it's probably been said somewhere before, I just haven't heard it, is if you had a life-threatening illness and the vast majority of experts, medical doctors, indicated you needed a certain treatment, you probably would take that advice and get the certain treatment to live longer and maybe sick the rest of your life, but not horribly sick, and really extend your life and still have a solid chance of quality of life. And yet, many of you who don't believe in climate change don't make that connection. It's like, what is the risk in getting electric cars? No one has claimed that we are more at risk for something bad to happen to us if we get electric cars. We're certainly not going to be more likely to go to war over oil. We're certainly not going to worry about the quality of the air not being as good. There's really only the risk that ICE cars, vans, etc., trucks, are the risk through the air quality, through going to war for oil. And you have to remember that ICE cars do not burn everything purely. Carbon monoxide that becomes carbon dioxide. There are other chemical compounds that are not natural. The moment you're breathing in things that are not natural, the human body really doesn't know what to do with it. You have to research yourself to see what health issues are associated with combustion vehicles. And just remember that if you have a vehicle that can ultimately drive itself, it's going to save a lot of lives, a lot of time on the road, because they can drive themselves, they can park themselves, and you have a car that is not likely to be outdated anytime soon. Normally when you buy an electric car, or other than Tesla, you risk being outdated. And then combustion cars, they're almost all the same as they've been for decades. And if they come up with some new technology of being able to follow other cars at a safe distance, you have to buy the new car, and there's just a lot more repairs associated. And I'm going to expand upon that in another video. I hope you all are enjoying the day. Take care. Bye-bye.